South Africa remains relentless in its commitment to children. The rights of our children are enshrined in the Constitution. Children are therefore placed at the core of the government's development agenda. This is evident in the National Development Plan, for example in the provision for their health, early child development and social protection through a diversity of support and financial assistance programs such as the Child Support Grant. These rights have been mainstreamed into the government's overall commitments and the operations of government departments. Championing these rights is Ms. Batabile Dlamini, the South African Minister of Social Development. There is a real need to know the impact of government's actions on children and what this means in their daily lives. Government partners every year with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund to facilitate annual children's parliaments, where children get the opportunity to talk openly about their experiences as South African youth.
Today, we are gathered once again, deliberating issues facing young South African people. The three issues that were of great concern were violence in schools, teenage pregnancy, and the dignity of an African child.
Section 2A, to promote the preservation and strengthening of families. Now that says a lot. But my point here is that it brings conflict at home religiously and culturally, which does not help in the healthy development of a child. I mean, how can you allow a 12-year-old to go and get contraceptives at such an early age? How do you build that child's self-esteem when you say you can go on and be sexually active at such an early age? What country are we trying to build? Are we trying to build a country whereby we have no morals, we have no values, we have no norms, or are we trying to build a country with a better future? I pose a question.
The government has partnered with professional and religious leaders to draft a bill that seeks responsibility among youth, which is the Bill of Responsibilities, which is of course a good idea. The idea of this Bill of Responsibilities is that the new generation of South African children who enjoy their rights should also be aware of their responsibilities.
On the Bills of Rights, Section 15, subsection 1, it states that, I quote, everyone has a right to freedom of conscious religion, thought, belief, and opinion. So isn't that inflicting on our parents' rights to upbring us the way they think it's best? I pose a question.
The home is the very first community that you come from. And you are then surrounded by a broader community, which are the people around you. It takes a village to raise a child. And we need to then, as the rights and the authority has been taken away from our communities, we need to start bringing it back to them so that they can be involved in raising the children.
In Limpopo province, most of our schools do not have enough classes, whereby one class accommodates more than 60 learners. Therefore, there is a need for infrastructure development in our schools to the educator's child ratio 1:35. Security. Fencing and security personnel must be tightened and the children must be checked at the gate when they enter the school premises. Children should not be allowed to enter the school premises under the influence of alcohol.
Children walk from home to school without a proper school uniform. Secondly, kids are expelled from school just when they are about to sit for their exams, which personally we believe it is not right. Moreover, lack of enough classes, and you find that per class there are 1 to 50 students, and it causes classrooms to be overcrowded.
There are few hospitals in KZN. Lately, hospitals are full because of many illnesses. We as children are put in the same ward as adults. Sometimes children come out of hospital sick with diseases they weren't even admitted for. And sometimes they come out traumatized of seeing an older person in a bad condition. The other challenge we are facing as children is when we get sick at school, the nurses in the local clinics tell us to come back after school during 2:30. But I'm sick now. Maybe I'll be dead by 2:30.
Child killing goes hand in hand with kidnapping. Children are being kidnapped. and there's nothing that's done about it. They end up being sex slaves in other countries. Physical abuse. Kids are being the victims every day of physical abuse. They've been beaten down. For example, where I come from in the Eastern Cape in Maclear, a child was beaten to death by a police officer.
In the Northern Cape province, it's one of the provinces that are experiencing the high rate of substance abuse, but yet we do not have rehabilitation centers. This is why we stress that point, and we give you a time period of 2 years, because we see that the more time we pressurize on it, we do not get results. We're giving you a time period, and we expect as children that what we are demanding, we get what we want. Not saying that we are pressurizing you, but we will also put an effort into changing our own lives as young students of this country.
Child participation. We urge all children to be proactive in things that affect them, namely gaining knowledge so as to make better decisions for themselves. By providing opportunities to be creative and stimulate their enthusiasm. Family level. We want parents to participate in the children's lives, in our lives. Parents must let us do our own things. They must be involved in our lives, share their knowledge with us so as to make us better people.
To the issue at hand today, access to services and how it affects us as children. By services, we'll be looking at health, protection, and housing in South African communities. Being alive is a privilege, but one that many children in South Africa are being denied.
Under the issue of service access, we have identified several service needs in South Africa. The government is not compromising equipment for profit. The equipment available are not made out of good quality material. They use these equipment to provide housing to the people who live in rural areas.
One of the fundamental issues I would like to touch on is that police are currently failing us as children. Just to justify this crucial matter, I'd like to highlight what the Minister of Police said, and I quote, "We are currently failing our women and children in this country. More and more vulnerable children in the country are being failed. But the police and the criminal justice system, we are failed to be protected from sexual exploitations, and the list is just endless. I believe that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So we as a children of courage are going to take that step. We're going to stand together. We're going to stand firm, and we're not going back. We're going forward. Viva.
Police should not only be made to do community service, but be enrolled in creative programs that are happening in their schools and their communities. This will not only help them keep them busy, but it will also build their characters to make them strong people who can survive the society and not feel happy when somebody else is in pain. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Madiba has noted with the greatest concern that we are important in this society, and therefore I note that the justice system and society as a whole recognize that also. By this, I mean, I implore in each and every one of you who are in this room, go out where you come from, go out in the world, and make sure that the well-being of learners is taken care of so that we can be a greater society, and the possibilities and what we have is endless. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
As Nelson Mandela himself once said, our children are the rock on which our future will be built, our greatest asset as a nation. They will be the leaders of our country, the creators of our national wealth, those who will protect our people.